In this video, we'll be discussing how to apply for the 2022 Child Care Relief Fund. Specifically today, we'll learn about what the Child Care Relief Fund is, how you can apply, and how you can get help. So let's start with what is the Child Care Relief Fund 2022? This fund, also known as the CCRF, aids recovery. It provides funds to help childcare businesses recover and stabilize after the COVID-19 pandemic. This 2022 round of funding pays for costs incurred between September 1st, 2021 and May 31st, 2023. To be eligible for the 2022 round of child care relief funding, providers must be open to providing child care services at the time of application or experience temporary closure due to public health, financial hardship, or other COVID-19 related reasons at the time of application, with plans to reopen within 30 days. Providers must be actively licensed or registered in the state of Texas with child care regulation as of February 28, 2022, in good standing with child care regulation, and committed to remaining open through at least May 2023. You may be wondering, how much funding will I receive if I apply for the Child Care Relief Fund and I'm approved? The base level of funding is determined by a child care program's licensed capacity and the 75th percentile of the average local market rate. Additional funding is available if a child care program is located in a child care desert. A child care desert is a determined area that has fewer child care programs relative to the number of children in that zip code. Additional funding is also available for programs which are Texas Rising Star certified, or if they're accredited by other national organizations. Additional funding is available based on the location of a child care program and whether that location has a high score on the Social Vulnerability Index, as defined by the CDC. Now, how can you apply for the Child Care Relief Fund? We've outlined 6 easy steps to apply for the 2022 CCRF, and we'll walk through each of these in this presentation. First involves planning for how to most effectively use funds and ensure you collect receipts for those expenses. Step 2, to apply online. Step 3, to receive your first quarterly payment upon approval of your application. Step 4, after you receive that first quarterly payment, you will need to complete a report on how you used your funds in order to, step 5, receive your second quarterly payment. If you are a returning applicant to the Child Care Relief Fund, you will notice that these quarterly payments are new. Yes, during this round of funding, you must report on how you used each quarter's disbursement of funds before receiving the next quarterly payment. So step 5, you will receive your second quarterly payment after reporting on how you used the first payment. And you'll have to repeat this process for the third and fourth quarterly payments. You'll have to return to complete reporting of the prior quarter in order to receive funding for the next quarter. We'll go into all of this in more depth. It is important to remember that in order to avoid significant delays in application processing and funding, you must ensure that all of your information is accurate and updated with child care regulation in their class portal. Learn more about how to do this in the How to Prepare guide, available at childcare.texas.gov. Let's start with preparing. Before finding your receipts, create a file or get a large manila envelope ready for your receipts. It is very important that you have proper documentation of all your expenses, in case you are selected for monitoring by TWC. Providers who are unable to comply with monitoring requests for documentation of expenses may be required to return funds to TWC. So you will want to make sure that you keep all of your receipts in a safe place. Create a digital backup of your receipts and proofs of payment by taking pictures, screenshots, or scanning the documentation. Now, when you gather your receipts for costs incurred between September 1st, 2021 and May 31st, 2023, you will be looking for costs such as rent, mortgage, property taxes, and insurance. And now please remember, if you're a home care provider, you will need to use the time-space calculation to determine what portion of your home use is for business use. What portion of your home utilities and phone is used for business? And we have a separate guide for that just for home care providers. Same with utility costs, gas, electricity, telephone, internet. Across the board, you'll look for costs for payroll, employment and personnel costs, including documented sole proprietor pay, company benefits, and if you hired any 1099 contractors. Other types of receipts you can look for include PPE, cleaning supplies, disinfectant, masks, gloves, safety goggles, janitorial supplies, hand sanitizer, soap, etc. Remember that a receipt or other proof of payment should show that you paid the expense, what you paid it for, unless it is very clear, like a utility company payment, the amount you paid, the date you paid it, and a description of the item purchased or service received. It is wise to identify more expenses and receipts than the total amount of your available funding. This will allow you to have some additional expenses in case there is a question on one or two items if you were to be monitored. Now, step 2 is to apply online, and we've broken this step down into 10 different parts beginning with this slide. First, during the invitation process, you will receive your invitation by email to the secure email address which you have on file with child care regulation. This will be a unique user identification link emailed by an @twc.texas.gov email address. New users will create a user ID, but returning users will use their previous user ID. So providers who did not create a user ID for the 2021 Child Care Relief Fund will need to create a new user ID for the 2022 round of funding. This link will remain active for 7 days to allow you to create a new user ID. Once you log into the Relief Fund portal, you will be able to fill out the application. During the program validation step, you will need to confirm your eligibility to apply. You will be asked for certain information which must match licensing information in the Child Care Regulation portal. This information includes your operation number, most likely your licensing number, your operation name, your role, your full name, and the zip code for the location of your child care business. On the general information page, you will verify automatically filled information for accuracy. On the payee information page, you will verify your mailing address and enter ownership information. Some information you will be asked to input will include your business identification number, which could be your employer identification number, your date of birth, and your legal entity name. You will review your mailing address again on this page. Here you will also select your ownership type, for instance, whether you are a sole owner, corporation, etc. The provider characteristics page will ask you for demographic information, which will not affect your application. You will also need to provide information on whether your program is open or closed. If your program is experiencing a closure, prepare to provide information on the dates during which the program closed and, if applicable, plans to reopen. On the child count page, you will enter information about your availability and enrollment. This information will not affect your application. Be ready to provide information on the total number of available spots in your program and number of children currently served by age. The age groups you will be asked to provide counts for are infants, toddlers, preschool age, and school age. Now, if you are a returning applicant, you will be brought to a use of funds page. If this is your first time applying for the CCRF, you will be brought directly to the summary page. But if you are a returning applicant on the use of funds page, you will report on how you used your program's 2021 fund disbursement. You'll provide information on the categories in which you used 2021 funds and how the funds assisted your program. On the summary page, you will review all the information you have entered into your application. Highly important, if any information is incorrect, stop the application process and edit the fields containing incorrect information. If any incorrect information is pre-populated, if it was automatically in the application and you cannot change it, you will need to make sure your information is up to date with child care regulation and contact the technical assistance team for more help. Incorrect information can lead to significant delays in application processing and receipt of funding. So it is very important if any information is incorrect, or even if you are unsure if information is incorrect, look at your information in the child care regulation portal, and with any questions, contact technical assistance by emailing ccrelieffunds@trelliscompany.org. Now, onto the certification page. Providers must agree to maintain documentation of spending on allowable expenses. Additionally, providers must document compliance and agree to follow the requirements for receipt of relief funding. After you click Accept on the certification page, you should see a print application page, which gives you a confirmation message that your application has been successfully submitted. On this page, you can print the submitted application for your records. We recommend that you print your application for your records and keep it somewhere safe, such as with your receipts and documentation of expenses. If needed, you can return to your active application list and select View to print copies of your application at a later date. That part's over. After you've submitted your application, you're going to be waiting for approval from TWC. The third step is receiving your first quarterly payment. After you submit your application, there is no need to return to request funds. Submitting your application serves as your request for funds. When your application is approved, your first payment will be mailed to you automatically. Funds will be sent as paper checks via U.S. postal mail in 4 equal quarterly payments. Direct deposit is not available. You can check the status of your payment in your active application list. Once your check is issued, a date will appear. You can expect to receive your check in the mail within 21 days of the date in the funding application summary. If you do not receive your check soon after 21 days of the date, which appears in the funding application summary, you can contact technical assistance at ccrelieffunds@trelliscompany.org. Step 4, to complete the use of funds reporting. An email reminder will be sent approximately 7 days prior to your next payment, prompting you to complete the use of funds reporting form. Providers can access their use of funds reporting form in their active application list under Funding Application Summary. You must complete the reporting form before your next payment will be sent. If you need any assistance, contact technical assistance. Providers will submit expenditure amounts for personnel costs, one-time wage supplements for staff, rent, mortgage and utilities, PPE and cleaning supplies, goods or services, mental health supports for children and employees, assistance with parent co-pays, tuition, and other allowable expenses. TWC will also confirm that providers remain open and operational prior to sending each quarterly payment. Failure to submit this information could prevent you from receiving your next quarterly payment. After you submit your use of funds reporting form for your first payment, your second quarterly payment will be sent to you automatically. It is vital that you submit your use of funds reporting form or you will not receive your second quarterly payment. You can check the status of all payments in your active application list by viewing your funding application summary. Again, once your check is issued, a date will appear and you should expect to receive your check in the mail within 21 days of that date. If that time passes and you do not receive your check, you can contact technical assistance. You will receive a reminder email for each subsequent payment, prompting you to return to the portal and complete your use of funds reporting form. You must complete your reporting form to receive your next quarterly payment. Very important, your second, third, and fourth payments will not be sent until you have completed the use of funds reporting form for the previous payment. You can learn more about how to apply for the Child Care Relief Fund in our step-by-step application guide, which you can access at childcare.texas.gov. Now, you may be wondering, how can I get help with this process? This was a lot of information. Well, in round one, many providers, such as yourself, experienced common system errors. We have provided you with information to help you to quickly identify and address potential errors which you might encounter. Common user experience issues, which were experienced during the last round of funding, are covered in our application guide. These include updating information with child care regulation, locating your invitation email, logging into the CCRF portal, getting assistance with your CCRF user ID, and navigating the program validation step of the application process. TWC has contracted with an expanded technical assistance team specifically to provide help with the 2022 Child Care Relief Fund. Please contact technical assistance CC Relief Funds at trelliscompany.org for all questions pertaining to your Child Care Relief Fund application. Now, after you've submitted your applications, you will be monitoring your use of funds. To ensure the proper use of funds, a sample of child care programs will be selected for monitoring by TWC. As a condition of your receipt of the Child Care Relief Funds, you must comply with monitoring requests if selected, or you will risk recoupment of those funds. Providers who are selected will have 15 days to submit documentation of expenses, which you cover with relief funding. If you are selected for monitoring and have questions, you can register for a free coaching call with one of our business coaches at childcare.texas.gov. And for more information on how to gather expenses and prepare for monitoring, please see the 2022 Documenting Expenses and Preparing for Monitoring Guide. There are an abundance of resources available for you to support you through this process. You can review the How to Prepare guide, the Documenting Expenses and Preparing for Monitoring guide, which are both available at childcare.texas.gov. Business coaches are available to help you with using the Child Care Relief Funding, as well as other business topics. This is available at childcare.texas.gov, along with links to help and other resources in English and Spanish. And of course, technical assistance is available for you. Any questions that you have about applying for the Child Care Relief Fund and troubleshooting the application process, you can contact Trellis Company at ccrelieffunds@trelliscompany.org. Their help is available in both English and Spanish. For any and all updates regarding 2022 Child Care Relief Funding, visit childcare.texas.gov/CCRF 2022 update. We wish you the best of luck with the application process, and we look forward to connecting with you to help support you through this process. Be well.